Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome to the 12th session, as they say today. Destination India 2030, hospitality-led tourism growth. So we're going to talk primarily about hospitality-led tourism growth, whether it is the airport in Noida or generally at various destinations, or even at the circuits that we will identify as we speak along. I'm deeply privileged and honored to be here as a moderator because a distinguished panel like yourself, Mr. Suman, Billa, Additional Secretary and Director General of Tourism, Government of India, Ms. Mugdha Sinha, MD, India Tourism Development Corporation. Ms. Sinha, Ashoka Hotel was the first hotel I put my foot in as a five-star hotel, 1976. So I have very fond memories of ITDC. Mr. Kachru needs no introduction, President of Hotel Association of India and Chairman of Radisson Hotel Group. Thank you, Mr. Kachru, for being here. Ms. Priya, Chairman, Apeejay Surrendra Park Hotels. And Mr. Prashant Gaurav, Gupta, Chief Commercial Officer, Noida International Airport. So, before our session, I think it was a very exciting session of STR, which I think had a mixed bag because it was actually, what can I say, a reality check in some sense. Because we saw Goa, what was happening there. In various other markets, what was happening by the occupancy, whether it was ADR, whether it was RevPAR, and general demand across the country. We know from the statistics that I have is that we'll have 300,000 branded hotel supply by 2029. That's the projections that we have, which is an ambitious one, but I'm sure we're going to have it. What I'm looking at is where is the growth coming from? And large growth is coming from the tier 2 and tier 3 markets. Huge growth. And that's driven by the aspirational middle income segment. Hugely driven by them. And as a result of that, there is a bit of a demand and supply gap. And we have opportunities for build more hospitality, so to say, projects there, depending on the appetite of that particular so-called location. May I start with you, Mr. Billa? Yeah. So how is the Ministry of Tourism prioritizing hospitality as the backbone of India's tourism growth strategy?
So, thank you, Farhat. I think, let me begin by complimenting Bhubanesh and team for putting together yet another good edition. Now, the question that you have asked is like asking to summarize the Mahabharata in a tweet. You know, so there's a lot of work that's happening, but let me try and, put it in a cryptic manner. So, let's start with the problem statement. What is the problem statement today? Is that, as our colleague from STR has told us, that demand outstrips growth by a big margin. Today, you have 180,000 branded hotel rooms in the country. You have 15 lakh unbranded hotel rooms. And if you just map it to the demand, which is being conservative, you need to have 3 times more number of rooms in India. Let me now tell you the second problem statement, is that outbound is growing faster than inbound. You receive 20 million international tourists, but there is 27 million who are going out. The RBI says it's 17 billion is the amount of money, $1 billion is what is going out of the country, but that's just the formal accounting. My sense is it's going to be higher. And outbound is rising faster than inbound. So if you let this go this way, it is likely that we might actually be net losers when you look at the balance of how this is going to play out. So, as you know, a few months ago, we've had a presentation to the Honorable Prime Minister and some of these things were discussed, and then he asked a pointed question. He said, is there any destination in India which has global standards? And then that set us off thinking, and then we sort of, tried to figure out. And then a few days later, when he went to the Niti Aayog meeting where he addressed the state chief ministers, he sort of gave the clarion call. He said, one state, one global destination. Don't try to go and try to, spread your resources too thin. Let us all join hands and try to develop this. So this has found resonance in the budget as well. And one of the things, we do several things, but let me focus on this, is that we should develop 50 global world-class destinations in the country, because what the country needs today is inspiration. It's not the lack of money, it's not the lack of resource, but it's the ability for us to think that we can do something at this level and, succeed. So the scheme that we are now, the big infra scheme that's going to roll out now is essentially going to play out on two parts. The first part is, the idea is to develop these, as I said, these global destinations. The first part is managing the destinations, which is essentially on how do you take a destination, do a baseline study today, and look at where you are against several pillars like cleanliness and hygiene, against wayfinding, against security, safety, all of those, and then say what is the aspiration level where you need to be world class. And then break it into 3 or 4 levels, and you gamify it, and you tell the state that you nominate one destination. And then you sort of say, this is my roadmap for this. And every time they breach one level, they achieve one level, then they are given money. It's a gamified system to finance the second level of development, right? So that is straightforward. The second part is on how to develop the destination, which has been selected. So stay with me on this. It's a little bit complicated, but I will try and make this simple. Is what does the budget announcement say? It says that the first is that states should provide land for development. States should provide land for development.
Is it loud enough for everybody? Can you hear?
The second is it says that the government of India will support with infrastructure. The third is whichever is the destination that has been decided will automatically qualify for infrastructure status. So essentially what this means is that you will now take a position, states will take a position saying this is my destination and this is how I'm going to make it world class, not just in management but also in capacity expansion through private sector investments. And the way that it is going to happen is not on the principle of equity, but the state needs to come forward and say that along with the industry, state needs to pitch along with the industry and say this is the plan we have and this is how we plan to develop it, and depending upon the value and the impact that they can generate, projects will be sanctioned to the states. So I think in terms of paradigm, there's a huge shift, because this is the first time that we are saying, possibly for any government, where we are saying that the state governments and the industry must have a common plan of action and you need to come. And I think the idea is that you need to work backwards. Whatever it takes to create these 50 destinations at world-class standards, it's something that needs to be done. And I think my ask from the industry is that you need to work closely with the government of India and with the state governments to optimize this potential for the country.
Actually, you're so right, because one of the things that we struggle today is the dialogue between the state and the center. The states are doing their own thing, and the center, I'm not saying their own thing, as I'm saying the coordination that is required for getting hotel projects up and running. And we had during the day quite a few discussions where people said, we're having problems with policy framework, for example. The state has different policies and the center says different policies, and the projects get stuck as a result of that. I mean, how do we solve this issue?
So let me take 30 seconds and explain this. It is that, one, there is convergence of vision, what we want to do. Second is that we should not do something because the state government politically thinks that this destination is important for me, but it must be backed by the industry's confidence in putting money where, there is potential. So the way that this election is going to happen, one of the most important parameters on which it will be done is that the state government needs to come and say, and we index it, what is the ease of doing business for tourism enterprises in your state? The second is what are the incentives and the subsidies that you offer for an investor, to take him past the tipping point. And the third is how have you done in all the projects that you have done so far? Have you been able to deliver? Have you not been able to deliver? So when you index this becomes a powerful, compelling factor for most of the states to come around and say that, let me clean up my game and let me do something so that I become eligible and I'm able to do better. I said one state, one global destination, but I also said 50. So what happens to the other 14? The other 14 go to those which are doing well. So there's a reward in it.
Thank you, thank you. Mugdha ji, for you, how do you contextualize ITDC in this age and time from the point of view of travel, tourism and hospitality industry?
Very good evening, everyone, and thank you very much also for that little tidbit of information. So ITDC is celebrating 60 years this year, which is a landmark. As we know, it's the Shashti Purti, the age of superannuation in the bureaucracy. Also a time to inflect, genuflect and reflect on what we need to do, because we are all part of the Vision 2047. But as we talk of the 60 years that have gone by, there's another set of 60 which I want to tell you before I move on to how we'd like to reimagine a future and how we are investing in the present to be able to be in sync with how the times are changing. So there's another period of 60 years from 1887 to 1947, when India had only 3 branded hotels of any kind: the EIH in Kolkata, the Taj in Mumbai, and the Oberoi's in Simla. And we were the 4th in the country in 1956, when the Ashok Hotel was, established, because we wanted to have, to be able to host a big MICE event like the G20 in those times. So the range of experience that ITDC has ranges from the post-independence to the post-pandemic. And we are all aware that the post-pandemic times are very different. When I came here, there was a presentation which was going on, which was talking of the geopolitics. And today, if I can say, we live in a VUCA world, where V stands for vulnerable, U stands for uncertain, C stands for complex, and A stands for ambiguity. The gentleman from the Radisson group spoke about how clarity and agility will enable us to make the transformation from these uncertain times that we live in. And we are aware that these geopolitical sensitivities, including in what has happened in India in the last 6 months, has also enabled us to do a little rethink. So what we are doing in ITDC for the future is, today because Mr. Suman also spoke about availability of land and stuff, coordination between center and state, I just like to bring to your notice the difference of the world that we live in today. Many of the countries have been experiencing and investing in that creative economy world for the last 20 plus years. Australia began it in the early 1990s when India was liberalizing. But today the factors of production are very different from what we have believed in the classical economic times, which is land, labor, capital, and enterprise. Today, the world is thriving minus the land, minus the global rankings. If you look at Southeast Asia, probably India has a better TTDI ranking than the other countries. The other countries have invested zilch on destination development in that sense in which we are. But what they've got right is the connection of the dots, which is the collaboration using data, technology, and marketing. So if you need the three devs which will actually catapult you from the age of the classical economics to the age of the creative economy, it is these 3 things. And technology has to change from being a tool to being a co-collaborator, a co-partner. So what we are doing, and I would urge a think, because this is industry's voice matters a lot. The ability, so what we were talking in the ministry, I'm actually getting to do this in ITDC today, and we are 5 in 1 rolled in ITDC. So how is that? I'm a hotel, I have a couple of hotels with me. I'm a OTA because I'm a travel agent, I'm an OTA because I can book your ticket. We are expanding, we can also do visa, apostille, etc. for you. We are also looking at concierge services. Somebody spoke about transient and group ratings. The value addition in the group is because of these concierge and value added services that we give. So ITDC is doing that. We will have very soon our own portal. We are awaiting the minister's date for inauguration to be able to launch it and to present it to all of you. Then I am also a PCO, because most of the bottom lines today of the hotels also comes from the wedding and the meet in India, the MICE. So I'm also a PCO. I also have a full-fledged vertical called the corporate marketing and PR, which is very, very essential to get today because all the countries have representative bodies which work as the corporate representative marketing arms of various countries. So we are all one. And I think the investment in big data analytics, which is what we've set up, we have a huge long-standing legacy of about 60 years, which means all the data that we have collated is now being used as evidence for doing commercial contractual agreements. The way we are doing our collaborations is based on the contract. The contract is a hugely successful IPR asset because today, vis-a-vis the other 4 factors of production, ideation is an asset. We are not talking of today monetizing physical infrastructure alone. We are monetizing idea, a loyalty program, a gift card connected to your wallet is an idea which can be converted into an asset. So we are talking of ideas, assets, revenues generated from these ideas, and these ideas will be unique. So we have to make a move from the accounting system to an investing system in the government, and this is what we are doing, this is what we are capable of doing. And then also using this revenue generating model and develop businesses which then prosper on royalties. So it is a return in a very, very retrospective way of the new zamindar which will flourish on the whole idea of generating new ideas, where you don't need centers of excellence, where you don't need construction activities, but you need curation of contractual obligations, and that is at the core of what ITDC is doing. And I can just say one thing, and it's a very outlier kind of an idea. It might just make you think, but the ministry has been contemplating a national tourism board. The National Tourism Board means the ability to be able to convert an idea into a commercial venture. And I think ITDC stands at the cusp of being able to do that for the ministry and for the country, because I always believe that the eye of ITDC stands with the eye of India. So this, I think, is at the cutting edge of what ITDC is planning to do now. We are right now at the bottom rung of what is called the iceberg. The tip you will see when we do our 60 years commemoration celebration, and might just take this quick opportunity to also invite all of you, if you guys are here, please be on the lookout of the Agre parties that we will be sending very soon to have you all over, celebrate in the 60 years of the legacy of the ITDC.
Thank you, Mugdha ji. That was wonderful. Thank you. Mr. Kachru, you've been one of the tallest voice for the industry, pallbearer for the industry, literally. And what can associations like HAI do to unify industry voice? I hear from a lot of tourism secretaries and so on across the country, and they say, how many bodies do we talk to? And I think HAI is one of the most powerful bodies. And what can we do to influence the policy on tourism and hospitality?
Thank you, Farhat. I'm really happy that Mugdha ji spoke so much about ITDC, because there are quite a few of us here who have a special relationship with ITDC, and it would be wonderful to see what they deliver, what they have delivered, everybody knows, and I think it may not be understood in the present circumstances, but let me tell you, if there was no ITDC, tourism facilitation would not have been possible. That's the organization which actually went to places where nobody was ready to put up hotels, whether it was Khajuraho, Madurai, Hassan, or anywhere else, and they facilitated that. So, very happy as an industry to see what you are doing for ITDC. Wearing my HAI cap, I'd like to focus on that because my colleague Nikhil spoke a lot on Radisson and where we are going. So I limit myself to HAI. And I think we, as an industry body, are always talking about the same things again and again. And there have been challenging times, whether it was COVID or geopolitical reasons. I think we have to move on. We have to look at those opportunities, and challenges being converted to opportunity is the best way to go forward. My only submission to the government has been, first of all, we should acknowledge what needs to be done, what are the real challenges, because it's very easy to say we want 100 million inbound tourists, we want to be at such and such slot in 2047, but how will that be achieved? We need to acknowledge what is wrong. If I want to be the bad boy today, but I think we have to acknowledge what is wrong with us, what the industry has to do, what the government has to do. We need to actually put them in the right slots. We have been asking for years together few things which will help us to get investment into the country. In the earlier conversations, we all heard about foreign investment. If we want to grow, we do need institutional investment. And unless that institutional investment comes, we'll limit ourselves to only HNI funding. In order to do that, every fund is looking for the right ROI. Unless we provide ROIs to all the institutions, I don't think we'll be there. We have to acknowledge that. And we have to prioritize as to what we need to do and when. We can only go to step 3 if we have done step 1 and 2. We are very happy as a HAI that government ultimately heard us and acknowledged that we need to provide infrastructure, and I think we have taken our first step in convincing the government that they should provide this status to new destinations. And, you know, we're grateful to the ministry and our minister who actually went out of his way to help us doing that. The entire bureaucracy, different ministries actually address that problem. But we need to understand at the same time, hotels which are operational, how do we help them sustain what they are doing? How do we help them sustain their bottom line? We need to focus on that as well simultaneously. Otherwise, the carpet will roll behind us. We need to focus on that. We need to rationalize few things. I mean, we are very happy, all of us are very happy that a great move has been made towards a rationalization of taxes in terms of GST. The key issue is who is actually benefiting and who is not. If we want investors to come into India, we have to ensure that mid-segment, we all acknowledge that mid-segment is the biggest segment to grow. If we want to support that segment, we have put in a bar of 7,500 rupees and we have withdrawn the refund to the same people. In actual terms, we're either negative or very minimum benefits. I'm grateful to Mr. Billa and his team. They are working out, but we don't know what will happen when. We need to actually work together as government and industry to fix responsibility. Accountability should be very clear. Timeline should be very clear. We say one window should happen. We will provide ABC, but there must be a timeline, and people who are actually accountable for delivering must be held responsible if they are not able to deliver. We're talking about some of the basic things where we really don't need to change the rules. Maintenance of our monuments. Please involve private sector more and more. We are ready to help. All associations, it's not only HAI, let me tell you, whether it's Faith, CII, FICCI, everybody wants to work together to really help, because the last mile connectivity and positioning of India is very important. If we don't position ourselves right, we will take 3 times more to reach our target than where we are today. There has to be a strong private public participation, and I think as industry body, whether it's HAI or Faith or FHRI, CII, we all have to work together. Mugdha ji said about making tourism boards. I think one suggestion I have for the government is, please ask for more powers to be given to Ministry of Tourism to take decisions, and the files should not float from one department to other department and one ministry to other ministry. Thank you.
Mr. Kachru, that was ending on a very good note, I said. Yeah. But thank you very much. Very, very
Thank you.
insightful. Thank you. Yeah. We are coming to you. You know, you led a very boutique design driven company, and I still remember Terence Conrad doing the boutique hotel in Bangalore. It was the first of its kind. And how do you take this whole design hotel thing to different destinations or to different circuits, if I may say, and through storytelling, through design, or culture and cuisine integration, or differentiation in the tier 2, 3 markets?
Sure. I think all that and more are relevant as we go out and build circuits across the country. And I think first of all, from my experience in doing it in urban centers, it's really about creating a story and a narrative, and differentiating our hotels using culture, music, food, fashion and design, and art and design. And I think I see that, and that's how the hotels are rooted in the community. They're engaged with the community and have that kind of sense of belonging, not just for the property, but also for the people in that location. And I think that's what I've seen now in the past 2 years. We've opened 2 hotels, one in Chettinad and one in Patiala. I would not even call them, one is in a village in Chettinad, and it's really about how you engage with the local community. One is a village, one is, okay, fine, a palace in a let's say a tier 3 town. And it really goes to what Mr. Billa and the team are going to do to create these destinations and circuits. And it's all about making very authentic experiences. I think modern travelers now, they don't travel in the same way that they did before. So yes, you will go for a wedding and you'll go to a big ticket hotel. But people are exploring new destinations and a variety of experiences, a variety of brands and non-brands. So it's not, and you also travel because you want to, say, go and try a particular cuisine, or you want to go to a temple festival somewhere else. And what I've seen in both these Patiala and Chettinad is how a lot of the cultural immersion and other things are coming from normal citizens in that place. It's not as if something that's necessarily driven by the government. And it's like in Chettinad, I've just come back, there's a festival that's going on, it's a 4-day festival, there's a 4th year. It's 6 or 7 hotels, including one of ours, get together and host this. and sell the hotels together and combine it. And now there's a whole calendar of
It's a great idea,
festivals.
this is.
So I
Beautiful
think that's fantastic. You see the success of Jaipur, the Lit Fest, how it's transformed Jaipur and has spawned many Lit Fest across the country. So I think that's something that Mr. Billa, if you do those large integrated developments that I saw in that document, 100-acre developments, I'm not sure how much of that local connect a 100-acre campus will have. So my submission is that, okay, fine, if you're doing, there's no point earmarking 100 acres in one place, in one location. I think how do you involve the whole, let's say the district in it? If it's just 100 acres in one place and then you'll have these massive hotels, but there's no sense of excitement, there's no random restaurant or there's no village experience or whatever else. And I think a lot of these destinations are going to be in smaller locations. So I would love to ideate more, and I think it's very important that you embed the local community and the local experiences from the beginning. There's no point doing it later. So I think it's that destination has to be authentic. It has to, and it doesn't matter if the hotel is 15 rooms or 200 rooms. People's needs have changed, and that's what they're looking for: storytelling, authenticity, and new experiences.
And the whole thing has to be for having an experiential, so to say,
Yes,
that the traveler is seeking today. I think what you have just said is so appropriate, actually. Moving on to Prashant, Gaurav, Gupta. You know, I was reading somewhere 412 million passengers have gone were traveling in India in 24. Is that correct? Yeah. 412 million?
That's correct.
Yeah. And what are the plans for the new Noida airport? Would you just share some?
Good evening, everyone. And in the interest of time, I'll try and wrap it up quickly. So Noida International Airport is a 100% owned subsidiary of Zurich
Also
Airport.
from a hotel perspective.
Sure.
Yeah.
So just to give a little background about the airport, Zurich Airport is the 100% owner of Noida Airport, and Zurich Airport, of course, owns the Zurich Airport in Switzerland. We also run 11 airports around the world. We've been in the airport business for 76 years, and we won this concession in 2021, and we started construction in 2022. And we will be opening very soon, within this year. So about 3 years of construction. We are a 12 million passenger airport. The concession is for 40 plus 30 years, and we will ultimately scale this up to 70 million passengers as we move along.
The whole parcel is 5,000 acres, if I understand correctly.
3,500 acres of land. And we have, from a hotel perspective, identified 7 plots within the airport premises where we will be...
7 plots.
7 plots. Right now, one is already under construction, which is with Roseate Hotels. But our perspective is that as the demand grows, we will continue to lease these parcels of land and build more hotels. But eventually, once we are up to our capacity, we will have at least 7 hotels to start with, along with malls and other office spaces. Noida is a region which is being developed by the Uttar Pradesh government as a new city. They've already worked a lot as far as industrial plots are concerned, residential areas, and with the opening of the airport, that area will see a lot of boost. We also feel that we're not only the second airport in the NCR region, but also we are very strategically placed to. Apart from catering to the immediate catchment area of Noida, Greater Noida, South Delhi, we're also very strategically placed from a spiritual and religious tourism point of view because of Agra, Mathura and Vrindavan, and we will enable...
Yeah, they're all drivable distance from there.
That's correct. Yeah. I mean, you can reach from our airport to Taj Mahal in 2 hours. So it's very possible for anyone to do a day trip to Agra, or from our airport to Vrindavan is about 1 hour away. So yes, we feel that we'll be able to contribute a lot from a tourism point of view as well as an airport.
All right. So when do you share this big news of when do you think we're going to have the first flight operating from there?
The target is to do it within this year.
Pardon me?
Before the end of this year.
Before?
Before the end of this year.
Before end of this year?
Yes.
Oh, that's not very far. That's not very far.
Calendar.
Oh, okay. All right. It's commercial flight you're talking about.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Fantastic. And I'm sure this is also going to lead to creation of, I was seeing some number, 2 lakh jobs
Yes, I mean, airport is a full ecosystem, so it's not just the airport, but also the partners who work with us in various areas like ground handling and other services. They're all going to generate employment, and we have started the activity of reaching out to local communities to see how we can involve the local villages around the airport to generate employment, not just from the airport, but also from all our partners.
Thank you, thank you. Mr. Billa, just quick one from, how do you see the role of the public-private partnership grow and accelerate the hotel development? Public-private partnership, yeah.
Excellent question. So I think it actually gives me the context to respond to a couple of our colleagues. So I think the big thing is it's easy for everybody to say, for the industry to say, you should do this, what is your goal, what have you achieved? The question is, what is the industry doing? You know, I was at the IHA conference and they had this, the theme of this year's was, you know, India inbound, and this is the number you will get. And I was on the first panel sitting like this, and they asked me, what do you think about this? And I said, you're not going to get there because you don't have the capacity. So, you know, you need to be realistic. Second is, what does the industry do? You know, I've served at UN Tourism. In every country of the world, the policy impetus comes from the industry. Don't rely on the government. Don't know, just by coming and telling me and, you know, Mugdha, knock on our doors and say, this is what is happening, we need this. Things are not going to happen. You need the industry also to sort of come. I was industry secretary in Kerala. And several years before the Vizhinjam port opened, you know, the Adani ports, through the Ports Association, etc., would come and start talking about 5 years hence. Right. This is going to come, this is what we need to do, this is the policy thing. So by the time the problem arises, it is already something that has been addressed. But to my mind, I think the tourism industry is very, very reactive. And I think we need to change that. And I think we need to start articulating what is it that we want and how do you make, you know, sort of meaningful change happen. And on Priya's point about authenticity, I couldn't agree more. And I think the Honorable Prime Minister said, he said, you know, don't try to create anything that is there outside. He said, jo hamare paas hai, present it in the best way possible. And I think that is the way. And we're not even saying you need to have 100 acres, 50 acres. The idea is to kickstart, you know, sort of private investments. So I think the idea is, to come back to your point, is PPP is one part. The second is to trigger private investments. And always I have said in Kerala, the idea is if you're able to create conditions for private investors to come and flourish, that is enough.
I know, Ms. Billa, we are short of time, but I wanted you to just dwell on that Buddhist circuit.
Okay. So on Buddhist circuit, I think
That's a quick one.
Yeah, 30 seconds. So I think the equation is very clear. You have 560 million Buddhists in the world today. 560 million. And Lord Buddha said that, much like in Islam, he said, if you go to places that are associated with my life, your path to nirvana will be hastened. So it is on everybody's thing. And we get 0.005% of the Buddhist population which actually visits us.
Not even a decimal.
If we remove 1 zero from there, that's $13 billion. Right. So the idea is that we have these crown jewels in Bihar and UP. The idea is that we need to create an impetus, you know, for that to grow. And this is not going to happen in business as usual. I think we need to put some heft behind it, both from the government as well as from the industry, and to make that happen.
Thank you. Mr. Kachru, you wanted to say something?
No, I think he has answered and very appropriately put it. PPP is something which is the only answer, I feel. But I would continue to harp on one issue. Whatever is to be done by industry should be done, no excuses. But at the same time, whatever policy makers decide and announce, they must ensure that that is executed, and people who are not executing must be identified. There should be some accountability.
So, just one quick interjection from everybody on policy, infrastructure or investment that will make tourism a reality, and it will be make it a big success. Policy, infrastructure or investment. Choose any three.
I want to say something completely,
Sure.
not those 3 points.
Sure. Please go.
I think it needs a time-bound action plan. Otherwise,
Time-bound action plan.
otherwise none of those 3 will
Time-bound action
happen.
plan. Yeah.
All those three are there in some place, but how do we, going back to your point?
Can I just also quickly add to what was said here in the conversations? See, please also understand that your ancestors have left you the best built heritage on which we are gloating, and we are trying to connect the future with the past in the present, if I can say that. And that is what is begetting us the tourist footfalls, right? So our infrastructure in the present be either better than that, or it ensure that our design aesthetics are very, very good. I think there is a complete need to onboard the design aesthetics, because form should follow function, right? If you look at, for example, destination management, the destination management becomes seamless if the additions that you do to the built heritage are seamless, are beautiful, they don't stand out, and they also allow functionality of your seamless movement without being eyesores. I think that is something very, very important. So please put, just like we put ethics at the center of everything, please put aesthetics at the center of our any additions that you do to build heritage. Otherwise, all your marketing campaigns with a tower standing right in front of the Bundi fort will not allow you a good picture. You can't market it. You will have to depend on several years old pictures to be able to market. So everything is linked. The infrastructure that we build today should have good design aesthetics, which should be functional. And this doesn't just go for destination management, it goes for everything. Look at hotels that are being built today. Are the hotels also seamlessly interoperable? The word that we use in technology for being able to host a wedding, being able to host a big conference. Are we that, or will we see those wires which will be crisscrossing our this thing and stand out at eyesores when we do? So when we talk of global benchmarking, I think the first thing that we should keep in mind is how everything is interconnected and how the design of the building will actually enable you to be able to do all kinds of destination management, be it a proper destination, be it a proper this thing. And the same also goes for cultural programming, which I think Ms. Paul mentioned. The cultural programming should predate the construction activity. So by the time your construction is placed, there is a backward and forward linkage between how you are going to use that physical infrastructure that you are building, how you are going to do physical infrastructure with programming. I think these are the three things that are very, very essential.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to each one of you, our distinguished speakers today. I think we have not enough time to sum up anything, but we will make sure that we prepare a document of our discussion today and we share with you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Farhat.